What's up, everybody? It's one of those days, so we're just gonna do this DO live thing and not make a big deal about it. I got a couple of topics on the mind, and they're all puzzle related, so I'm booting up Bergen's game again, or Dino Farm's game, and now I'm gonna turn this music way down, because, that's the opposite direction. There we go. And I don't even care about sound effects anymore. Why they all go up? Oh, fun. I'll do some sound effects. There you go. Confirm. So, we talked a lot about Dr. Mario on the forums, and as a quick summary, I described Dr. Mario as being the worst of both worlds between Tetris and Tetris Attack. Tetris gives you pieces. Every piece placement is important. You fit them together, and every spatial combination and formation matters as you stack yourself up. You have 7 different varieties of pieces, which makes a whole bunch of different combinations. Tetris Attack, you have 5 to 6 colors, so it's less there. And you can rearrange them in any way, so it's about making matches. Tetris is about making shapes and formations, and Tetris Attack is not about shapes, it's about matches, which are smaller inner relative shapes. And in doing so, you can rearrange the board, push puzzle pieces around, and try to create chains and bigger combos, all while the board constantly gets fed, right, from the bottom. The goal of Tetris is not to get it to the top. The goal of Tetris Attack is defeat your opponent, keep it low, not get it to the top as well. So we have Dr. Mario. It has 3 colors. Not quite 5, not quite 6, just 3. They come in like a handful of varieties. 7 maybe varieties? Solid, 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 solid. Solid to each combination. So that's 6, then 7, maybe 8. I just did some rough factorial. But then because you can rotate them, a lot of the pieces just kind of like have a lot of similarities there. The way the pieces break apart and fall down is restricted to only when you break a piece in half through a match. Unlike in Tetris Attack, where you can move the pieces all over the place, and like in Medios and stuff, you don't have a lot of control over where you manipulate things in this game. So you're just highly subject to the things they give you. And when you're making matches and you're highly subject to the pieces they give you, kind of like Bejeweled, where you can only make a match from what they give you on the board, and if you make a match, more stuff comes in and kind of randomly matches for you. But if you don't, the board washes because you can't make a match. That's really limited. And a lot of this is just describing different ways that these puzzle games go about creating their challenge and defining the meaning of their core experience. So then that begs the question, well, what are these puzzle games about? And why do some seem to have this long lifespan and be difficult and elegant at the same time? How does that happen? Well, it's because Tetris is about math. That guy was a math person, and he got really inspired by math, and he mathed it up. Tetris is about math, son. And the entirety of its design revolved around that math, right? The tetraminos in themselves, and kind of the right number for the board and the right number of everything, so you could see a whole bunch of these combinatorial patterns and enjoy puzzling through them and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Very clear game focus right there. Tetris Attack is it's a match-based game, and while there's less sort of a cool core math concept to it, it's basically we're gonna give you this really actiony style mechanic where you can swap pieces, and then we can make puzzles out of it because the pieces have a dynamic chaining effect due to gravity. Tetris's gravity is limited, right, only to the piece you're manipulating, and a little bit when pieces fall, but Tetris Attack, everything falls to gravity. Like you can see in Dr. Mario here, the gravity is somewhat limited. The pieces only break apart under certain conditions. And otherwise you have to deal with this sort of puzzle, pineapple pocopo. Oop. Why? Oh, it doesn't matter. And like to get rid of things in this game, you kind of have to do this basic kind of stack operation. And there's not much you can do until you just sort of line things up appropriately like that. This blue one on the bottom is going to be a pain because I have to get through that nut, so I'm going to use my C-bomb and blow that up. Kind of, it looks like kind of a waste of a super, right? But I think I needed to. Got my trash pile over here. Let's just keep going. Let's not do that. So, other people brought up a few other puzzle games in the chat. Lumines, you know, Meteos. I brought up Aquia. Oh, come on. Those garbage pieces are such garbage. Just, anyway. And then, I really felt like, maybe like with any game design, if you don't start off with the right sort of focus at the beginning, and you're just a remixer, you're going to get some pretty mixed results, I think. We talked before on one of the streams where I feel like there's 3 levels to design. Level 1 is just remixing things like, oh, what if we mix this with that, or what if we swap that with this? That's just like a remixing. Level 2 is figure out which pieces go well together, and then also identifying potential synergies and problems, right? And level 3 is actually addressing the problems. Like, if we put this and this together, we have this problem. What can we do about it? And, you know, let's do it. Because once you find a solution, you should probably do it. I feel like games like Aquia, which I'll show you in a second, was just mostly from the remixing phase. So they looked at existing puzzle games like, what can we do to add a twist, which is what a lot of people do when they think about creating their own idea. Like, what can we do and then change it up a little bit, which is, you know, understandable. You start with something that works and you try to iterate on it or improve upon it, but the improve part implies level 3 design, and iterate on it is most likely level 1. So I gotta get this stupid thing out of the corner. Red. Ah, stupid thing. Okay. And now I have to make sure the oranges go in the corner. Let's see if that formation's any good. My super meter doesn't feel like it fills up fast enough. Finally. Oh shoot. Yeah, something like that. So let me show you Aquia. Old DSiWare game. As you can see, like many puzzle games, they use a grid. And in this one you have a cursor, just like Tetris Attack. You have a solid field of gems or whatever, just like Bejeweled. You make cascading matches like Bejeweled or Tetris Attack or whatever. Or like even like Dr. Mario, but in this case, oh, cool, advertisements. There we go. Yeah, we have to do everything we can to record these DSi games. I remember those days. So sad, so hard to share. So like the basic game, you got a column, twist on Bejeweled and Tetris. Hey, quit trying to steal my content. So you have that cursor on the side, right? And what's unique about this is when you hit the A button, it pushes those blocks in from that side and then pops the blocks out from the other side. So unlike Tetris Attack where you swap, this is more like a push and swap. Try to make things a 4 or more. Or is it 3? It's probably 3. But you can see this idea. It's like, oh, take certain things that we already know to do, change the cursor or whatever, add a twist. And what this game also did is give you 3 different cursors to work with. One that's skinny vertically like that, another one that's skinny horizontally, and another one that's a 2x2 block. And what's cool is when you pop the shapes out, you can kind of rearrange them. So you might see him do it, but he pops out a shape, and you can hit whatever button, and it rotates the pattern. I use the whiteboard because if I find myself pointing at the screen, that means you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. This piece right here. If you hit a button, it'll swap and put the dark one on the bottom and the blue one on top before you can shove it back into the thing. So you can strategically shove things in and out, rearrange them, shove them in and out, do a little loop-to-loop where you shove in, out, in, out, in, out, so you can rotate whole sections at a time. You know, neat in and of itself, but the idea of like just iterating on any part of a game's design, I think misses a lot of the point of what some of those core original games had to offer. Like I said before, Tetris Attack isn't interesting because it just found a cursor that made sense. Tetris Attack is interesting because it had an interesting idea of pieces falling together and catching them in a chain, an action-based sort of timing in a grid format. And then that piece horizontally made the most sense. So that allows you to manipulate pieces and then dump some into a row and make columns and do whatever else. Makes a lot of sense for the game. So if you look at the cursor for Tetris Attack, you're not supposed to, do whatever you want when you're making your game, but I feel like you produce so much less fruitful results when you look at the wrong things of a design and then iterate them as if every piece of its design was independently creative and then stuck together to make some kind of amalgam. Like, these pieces are built to support other things that are core. So when I was playing Acquia, part of it rung flat. I was like, oh, I'm now getting used to another cursor, but I'm trying to do the same basic things. Now I'll just memorize like a different little sequence of input-output little loops or algorithms, and then you just kind of play it. Like 100% of this game, I beat every single level and got every single aquarium. So I put enough time into it, but I wouldn't say that the other cursors brought that much value at all. Kind of neat, but overall, I'm still playing Tetris. I'm still playing Tetris Attack because those games really have some real depth to them. So we can go back to Dr. Mario and just kind of wonder what the heck's going on here. So like in a case like this, the designers took, as far as I can tell, Dr. Mario and they said, like, how can we add to it? How can we remix it? How can we put something on top of the formula? And I think some of the reasons stated was to minimize some of the certain kind of randomness and unpredictability in favor of... No! Why won't we get in the hole? I'm just restarting this. Forfeit. I don't understand how the rotate rules work. And rotating rules irritate me a lot in games where you don't know like what point on the shape that you're controlling is going to actually rotate. So I think if you make too many premature combinations, this game will penalize you for it. So you want to try to set up as much as you can while you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Something like that. And then you on the chain only when you need to, I guess. See, now every time I make a match, the floor is going to come up. So you can't just like waste stuff. So here, I'm going to make a new kind of chain that's new to this game. with my new powers that I got. I'm gonna get rid of that, actually. What? I didn't see that garbage. Oh, that garbage is so annoying. Well, time to get rid of some of it. But then getting rid of the garbage without sort of just like quickly making a match to do it is how you're supposed to sort of... The challenge is supposed to sustain. We'll try this. And we'll try this. And I don't know if that was good or bad for me. Nope, I don't want that. But that's fine. And I'm going to make a chain reaction here with the blues. So I'm going to set up for that already. I'm going to pop this down for the reds and make another chain reaction. Okay, those almost ruined everything, those pieces of trashes. And check this chain reaction out. So like the game wants you to sort of think a little bit ahead and as much as possible do stuff like this. That was 4 fruits and whatever. Oh, so when you make combos like that, you get energy way easy. And then when you grab your energy, you can do stuff like I don't want this peach pit right here to be here. So you can put a bomb right here. And it gets rid of fruits and it gets rid of pits, which are, I guess, fruits. Still fruits, technically. So then you're like, oh, the point is to make a little bit more conscious long-form combinations. And then sort of reap the benefits sort of by utilizing the super meter, which is supposed to be like basically a real cheat. Like it's supposed to be highly effective. Like right here, this is probably not the best use of my energy. And that is not the best use of my energy, so I'm just going to stack this up here and make a chain. And as soon as I get 2 blues there, the chain's going to work. So I'll make a separate chain here with reds. And as soon as I get enough here, this chain's going to fire off. And drop. So I want to do this. No, I didn't want to do that at all. Oh, whatever. So we do this, and this drops, and then that, yeah, and then that drops, yeah. So you can kind of internalize some of the new rules and just use that to plan ahead. Like right now I have a special, and I'm probably going to use it to get rid of a cluster of nuts that are in my way. I wasn't laughing because of the word nuts. I was laughing because of cluster. Big difference. So instead of making this match immediately and chain reacting, I'm going to do this. And that's going to delay it 1, and then that's going to make that fall. And then I'm going to do this. And then when that falls, I'm going to do this. And then when this falls, it's going to bring down the house, I think. So I'm going to put this here for later. When that happens, I want to have some of this slide in, so I'm going to do this, I think. Oh no! That thing tried to ruin my day, so I probably should have made some of those connections faster, maybe? So I'm going to have a hard time starting this chain off now. Oh, nope, not anymore. And now I'm going to just get my... Oops. Blue. That's fine. Chain react. And then I'm going to pop a C right here, drop the bomb right here. It's going to go through all the pieces, kill the nut, drop that, chain react that. I didn't make such a good chain out of that. But now I got to get to the fruit all the way at the bottom, and I got this mess. So I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to do it. I bet maybe I should have, new rule, just work from the bottom up instead of the top down, and then maybe that'll alleviate this entire problem. Yeah, so I think I've expressed a similar thing when talking about indie games, and I was like, it's not impressive that you've learned puzzle script and you just made a Sokoban with random rules, right? And I just got to learn them and then play some basic Sokoban. Like, I get it, like, you can program, big deal. Like, when you make a puzzle game, I want you to have more of an idea than that, more of something to say, more of something that's aware. You're aware of the sort of mental gymnastics that you're making your player learn. So I'm going to try to do a triple drop here. But it's going to require... What does it require? That red to be out of the way? Which is not going to happen. This is fine. So now... Oops. Should have delayed that one. How about this? No. Here we go. Almost got that one to work. I got a super. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can. So now that blue's in the way, I'm just gonna do something simple like this and eventually account for a golden blue right here, and it's gonna drop 2 golds down. But actually I want to delay that, so I'm gonna put that here. I'm going to drop the reds should be dropping, so I'm going to do that. This is not going to chain. That didn't chain like I wanted. Well, might as well use the special now. Let's see what's been giving me the most trouble. I have no blue coming up in the queue. And getting the one fruit makes it to where it makes easier color combinations pop up. I think it's the blackberries. What? I did not anticipate that happening. So now I gotta get the... Oh! Why? Now I gotta get these yellows to chain react. Yellows. Actually, that's not the best. Oh well. Yeah. And that gave me almost enough for a super meter, which I can crack this turquoise thing in the corner, and then I just gotta worry about... Actually, I'll crack the purple with that just by doing this. And then I'm gonna drop my bomb, which I don't have right now, so I'm gonna focus on matching this blue one out. That's fine. Red and yellow. That's fine. Red again, that's fine. Blue and yellow, that's fine. That actually might help me. People need to realize chains are really easy once you just figure out like a small little algorithm to just focus on. It's all about focusing what you do instead of just like trying to react to everything. Quit giving me these pieces because I got the purples. They're going to give me these double ups, which I don't want. I want this. That's a large chain. And then I can use the bomb over here and crash it down. Oh, it got the peach pin instead? What? Okay, fine. Great, ruined my day. Yeah, this is a puzzle game that can kind of drag down at the end. Okay. I guess you build everything vertically if you don't know you don't know where to put stuff. Finally. Then I can pop this red right here. Then I can pop this yellow right here. And then get the double. I should have done that vertically. I'm so dumb. And that could have been disastrous. I just gotta get through this. Oh, whatever. Whatever. So yeah, there was a point when people were talking and like, oh, anything can be a puzzle. Just, you know, create a linear enough, restricted enough challenge that requires some thought, which some sequencing, something, synthesizing different rules and applying them together and paying attention to these little individual details. That's true. The puzzle is mostly in how it challenges you and not any other specific element or form or whatever. So, if you can do that out of anything, you kind of have to be careful. Because in a lot of ways, the mental exercise of doing a puzzle, I mean, if you can make a puzzle out of anything, then that means the mental exercise of doing a puzzle isn't unique either. Like, you're doing it all the time. You're doing it with every activity and all the time, and that's just kind of how the way it is. How hard does this go? Oh, 29. Okay, well, I'll try 29 again. Try a new character. I like this bomb. I'm gonna use this new squid recycle system. What the heck? Come on. There we go. So that means you gotta know what you're doing. Oh wait, new rule. Work from the bottom up as much as possible. Which kind of just means you're kind of dancing around the things on the upper level, right? Which means a lot of what this obstacle is and what the puzzle is I just feel like it's kind of odd. No! There we go. I didn't mean to make that, but I did. It's because I did it. Ugh, that was lucky.
I actually went and double-checked some dates.
Oh, what's up?
Dr. Mario actually predates Tetris Attack by about 5 years.
Yeah, I never said they got inspired by it. Just said the design, if you can understand it in a way that it's like the worst of both worlds. Yeah. But that's interesting. What else is with the timeline? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I've been looking at like the dates of when these games made. Apparently, Dr. Mario is actually one of the earlier ones. Apparently, several games came out within a short time of each other that are really influential. So a lot of the games copying them. One of these is Columns, 1989. Yoshi's Cookie.
That's... Well, I never actually played Yoshi's Cookie. I only play Yoshi.
Yeah, Yoshi's Cookie was 1992. Puyo Puyo is 1991, after Dr. Mario, which is basically Kirby's Avalanche and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
What is?
Kirby's Avalanche is basically
Yeah.
Puyo Puyo.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And Puzzle Fighter was actually 1996. And Puzzle Bobble is 1994.
Puzzle Bobble? What is that?
Yeah, well, if you don't know, then yeah. And Tetris Attack, otherwise known as Panel de Pon, is 1995.
It's gonna eat that piece. Okay. It's gonna eat that piece. Okay.
Just a fun timeline of at least all the ones that I know of, when these games were actually made.
There we go. Its squid tentacles are much more dynamic than the bunny's powers, I think. Or at least right now I'm not really good at thinking ahead with the strawberry bunny and planning those chains so deeply. Let's see, what's in my way? I don't know why it didn't complete the match there. Maybe some weird priority. You should have done that first. Why wouldn't you prioritize a match? It's a match. It's the whole point of the game. Let's clean up some of this. This is going to make my pieces easier that come up in the queue next. Is that right? Or maybe that was only Bunny. Henry Hatsworth. It's a game that kind of remixes the Tetris Attack game, but they did some clever stuff because they put it in a 2D side-scrolling action game, and they also made that game a hybrid game, so it goes back and forth between the 2D action and the Tetris Attack gameplay. Then they added a bunch of little wrinkles and rules for bosses and things that do some pretty interesting, clever things, and it's sort of an interesting example of like, hey, they took the part of it so they could integrate it into something else instead of essentially trying to improve it or change what it is.
I forgot about Wario's Woods. That was 1994.
That one's a good one, but the controls are a little hard to wrap my mind around. Close. Yeah, it feels kind of weird to have random pieces kind of raining down like that. Meteos did something like that where pieces just rain in from the top, and you're like, it's kind of like the random push that you'll get from below, or even like random pieces from Tetris. But Meteos do like, sometimes they make combos for you, and that was pretty rare in Tetris Attack, believe it or not. They must have had some kind of thing that made it less and less likely. And especially when you get more colors going on. I don't even know what I'm doing, I'm just making color matches. This whole thing has gotten away from me. I wonder if it's even possible to dig myself out of this. Especially with those things raining down. And a 4 match is spatially much different than a 3 match. I keep thinking in 3. it doesn't prioritize matches. That's so stupid. Like the matches are the hard thing to make, and it's what you're constantly working for. Why would you make it take away the piece that you work so hard to chain? You suck, Squid. So I don't know. It's nice to be clever. It's nice to have a really elegant puzzle system. Those things I think are interesting and aesthetically pleasing in themselves. I still look for a little bit more with my puzzle games. You know, not story junk and like not necessarily modes, just what do you think is interesting and how did you try to encapsulate that in this design? So, any questions, Adrian?
No. Right now I have more curiosities, which there's each of the games that I listed off earlier, because I want to see how they do things differently, and if they maybe do things better than Dr. Mario.
I mean, those are all very different games. Yeah, you can tell that I'm just like a scrub at this game because when I play, I don't even look at the queue of like pieces coming up. That rotation is so weird. That's not how it should work. It should, when you rotate one way and then you hit the opposite rotation, it should slot into that slot next to it. But it's just like, no, I just flip around forever. And you're like, where'd you get that accent from? That's what I always say. Don't mind me. I just flip around forever. Yeah, like that. That's why controls like that confuse me a lot. I'm like, is it doing the way that I expect, or should I change my expectations? So now I can look ahead and see like, oh, purple and blue, or yellow and blue, yellow and purple. That's quite the nurple. Oh. Okay, then they put junk all over my stuff, which is rude. I don't know why it just like drops like that too. Like, what's happening?
I know all the games I listed earlier were different games from Dr. Mario, but I guess I'm more curious to see how they either succeed or fail at what they're trying to do, since you showed off Aqueous and Luminesque earlier, and also include Meteos in that list of games that don't quite get there.
I mean, it's just kind of a weird way of thinking about games. Like, just because what is that? Why did it just fall out of the sky? I don't understand. Like, people can say whatever they want, and like they don't have to shoot for the moon whenever they're making something expressive. So like, it's not that they didn't quite get there. It's just for as far as long-lasting depth that you can get out of a puzzle and like really challenging your mind, those games don't do it, and they probably weren't trying to because they failed pretty hard. But it's just a small diversion. Interesting to play as a short little game like you do single player games and stuff like that. So like, it's a household name, that Dr. Mario. So Uh, I feel like a lot. That was crazy. I feel like a lot of things that Akuya did wrong wasn't like its basic gameplay, but how it like framed things after that. I feel. Oh, I'm in trouble. Which character am I right now? The bomber one that destroys pieces? Oh shoot! I didn't know that was gonna happen like that. What is this? What? Okay, I clearly don't know how it works. I didn't know it was gonna create like a Nexus bomb. Okay. How about this? No? Combo. What is that piece? Do I have to destroy both pieces? It sucks not knowing how the basic things work and you're trying to build your strategy around them. I don't know what that thing does. Well. Nothing happened. Disappointed. Oh, so the strawberries make it easier to color stuff. I should aim a little bit harder for the strawberries. Or what we'll call strawberries. Cops and strawberries. Don't ever do that. It hurts to look. That's Space Dandy. I need a blue and a yellow right there, so I'm gonna save that one. A blue. Is that a blue and a yellow, my friend? No. Oh, thank you for ruining that. Oh, that was supposed to be my blue and the yellow. Oh well. I feel like it takes too long to get your super, but I'm not playing particularly well. So that's weird, right there. The pills are still suspended, and when I see it, I think they're all individual blocks, which is normal for these kinds of games, but not for the sort of paired up pill Dr. Mario stuff. I think in Puyo they instantly separate once they hit any ground, so you're like, okay, now that they're in the field, they'll drop like marbles. In this game they still suspend, which is just like one extra little fine grained complexity that you gotta kind of keep track of. Kind of hurts my eyes.
Oh yeah, you're right. Puyo Puyo, it does do that.
Mm-hmm. Because I played that game.
Actually, the matching is 4 in this game, but it goes vertical and horizontal, so you can have them lined up in like a L shape, and it'll still count.
I mean, you'd still have to get 4 on each side, though. You can't do like a 3L with a one little Tetris bump coming off the end. You can't do that.
I just saw that in the video.
What are you talking about, Puyo?
Yeah, Puyo Puyo.
Why are you talking about Puyo?
Wait,
I thought you were talking about Dr. Mario.
No, you brought up Puyo Puyo because they fall down like marbles, and I was looking at the game, and then I saw that so long as there are 4 that are connected in a chain, So they could be shaped like a box and it'll still count.
Oh, see, that's probably what something like this game needs. See how many formations I made here? You know, like some boxes and near fours, so many threes, but it's kind of hard to kind of like get that last chunkamunka.
Yeah.
And then when they cluster like this, what are you actually supposed to do about this cluster? It feels like in this game, you don't have the means to sort of wipe it. Like in Tetris, if you make a mistake, you can actually like undo it with some clever plays. Like get a 2 chain, a 3 chain, a 1 chain, put a clever piece here, rebuild, and then flatten it back out. You're like, yes, I've restored order. This game, I'm not so sure that happens. And I'm so new to this game, I can't tell like how deep I'm in right now. I should have thrown in the towel a long time ago. But this formation's kind of neat. And right here. So when annoying near matches happen in Tetris Attack, you go shoot, and then you just go from there, just like I explained with Tetris. Like you rearrange it, you work from it, and you can have cool workouts or workarounds from familiar bad situations. In this game, I don't think you can do that. Another 4 cluster. Oh, that was my one survival bing that you get for this character. I don't even understand this character's special. It feels like you have on this high level you have to play to your special, and I couldn't even understand it. Going back to Bunny Girl. What time is it? Close.
11:36.
Let's see what we can do this time. So basic strats, build from the bottom, and if you get a random spread like this, you can easily channel down like this and build from the bottom. Red and purple. And now the missile bombs are coming, even though I haven't made a match yet. I'm not sure how those work. Again, don't know how to sneak that in there. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do about apricots in general. But I'm gonna blast this. Check out that chain, sucker. This is why you build up from the bottom. You just like set the potential up for yourself and then reap and roop and reap and roop.
Roop the droop.
Nice. You made the pun back around on itself. Check this out. It didn't actually chain, so don't check it out. In the other games, when they have trash pieces and you make a match next to it, it destroys it. These pits are just like the pits. Like, why are these pits in my way? Oh, I didn't. Oh, that was not a match. I keep doing 3. Ugh. And like trying to look at those stupid shapes and how irregular they are. I'm like, oh, I think this is it. You're like, nope, they're stupid shapes. You're like, how dare them? Chain. And when I chain, the strawberry disappears. That almost killed me. So I have to take care of this redness. Okay. I'll do this. I'll do this. No! That trash is such trash. I have to get rid of the yellow now. I don't have a choice. I gotta spend this on it. And I gotta spend... This should have been a red and yellow. Why was I doing this again?
Get rid of the apricot?
I thought I had a better plan than that.
Okay, yeah, confirmed it does not get rid of it if you crash a set near it.
Yep. So it's just kind of... Things are just kind of raining in, and it makes it harder and harder to deal with. And since it's raining in based on your movements, I think, not based on time, you know, there's no bonus for going faster, and it's just kind of like, you will get buried. And I'm like, I didn't want to. Whatever. Probably not my best plan, but it's a plan that I'm going with. Well, thanks for putting trash everywhere. There's trash everywhere. That's probably another good reason why to build up from the bottom. The trash only rains down from the top. That's not what I want. This is what I want. Let's see what this happens. Yep, the tea style fruit. It wasn't really worth it. But this is gonna get rid of another strawberry. And I died. Usually when they give you a random arrangement of things in puzzle games, they usually don't make it this influential, right? Like if you get this spread right here, that's a big deal. It's very different. And Tetris, you get pieces that trickle in, and eventually the random just kind of like goes down its own path. Tetris Attack, you get the random pieces below and sometimes from above, but they come predictably, and then the whole point is to manipulate them. So you're like, oh, I'll just take this and and you make it up. This, it's like it's like a level design, but it's randomly generated. So it obviously has like it's not designed. It has no structure, and you just gotta deal with it.
Yeah, what is... That's just a solid wall.
I still don't know why I lose control of my pieces sometimes. And that'll start a chain reaction, which I don't want. So we'll just do this. That'll start a chain reaction. I don't care. I really have to get through this wall. So you get that every time you make a single and not a chain. So let's see. Let's test that. Oh, so you just don't make singles. Hang them with single berries. You gotta use Match.com in this game. More singles. Yep, that's interesting. That means you can control the base. So I can do that a little bit more intentionally in the future. And it just goes down naturally over time. And then they just range junk on you, which is like, really? I don't know why that didn't raise the floor. And if you ever like a piece, you can just turn it into a bomb. Chain. I think using your bombs is like the most reliable way to get a chain. You don't depend on the RNG pieces. You can just blast through the stuff and set it up. There's no way that a random thing from the top can get in the way of it. Check out this cross pattern. Yep. Double chain or something like that. I think I'm doing well, but I'm probably going to screw it all up. Oh, the blue match. I don't know what's happening, actually. Cannot figure out why I can't do that.
Maybe they didn't want you to.
So I just have a blue fruit, red fruit. I can get rid of the red fruit. Gotta get rid of these yellow fruits. Can't do that. So now I have only these troublesome fruit in my way. Oh, cool. They just put more troublesome fruit in my way. What are you supposed to do about this? I'm just doing cleanup duty. I might as well make a bomb out of this. And bomb this one I'm probably never going to get to. Might as well get rid of this piece de la resistance. Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, great. Great. And when they put a pit on top of your fruit, like the only way you can get to it is from the side and below, which is so annoying. I guess I can just start having areas designated for like certain color matches like I just did there. You're like, oh, you know you can only get pills that are either useful because they're the same color or not, and there's only so many combinations of those. Like this will be the red and yellow hole. Oh, put trash on top. That's nice. That's nice. Red and purple hole. And now with the yellows, you can kind of get them in the right place. I almost have a cascade here. I just got to get a little bit more of innocence. I haven't had enough. That's probably because when you're young, it's okay to be easily ignored. I like to believe it's all about love for a child. It's kind of nice to work the floors since the divorce. I've been enjoying both my Christmases and my birthday cakes.
Yeah, I'm looking at this setup that you have now, and those blueberries, blackberries, whatever, on the bottom left there, especially that one that's surrounded on both two sides by apricots.
Junk. Yeah, pits. They're far too young in age, and they never check to see my grades. What a fool I'd be to start complaining now. What about taking this? So if there was an apricot pit on both sides of this fruit, would I just be game over?
Okay, I realize now that the bombs are supposed to are numbered for how many turns left before they drop, but the 3 and the 2 are all fucked up. They don't look like a 3 and a 2.
That's also true.
That's why it took me a while to realize that. I'm like, what is that? Is it a backwards C?
I have to blast that one. That's like such a long build up for such a weenie, puny little.
Yeah, like look at that. Is that supposed to seriously be a 3?
It's supposed to not seriously be a 3, my friend.
Yeah, and now the regular C is supposed to be a 2. And there's the only one that looks like an actual number. I'm 30 seconds behind, so...
Yeah, and they never check to see... Oop! Gosh darn it. What a fool I'd be to start complaining now. What about taking this empty cup and filling it up with a little bit more of innocence? Give me another double yellow. Give me another double yellow. Give me another double yellow. Oops. I don't know how random these piece orders are, but they can be quite stingy sometimes. Oh, whatever. Nope, that needs to be yellow and purple. Now I got the pits on it. I'm not sure what to do about that. I guess I have to just build this yellow hole out right here. So that's yellow and gold. Yellow and blue, which is not the best way to do that. Drop the yellows, please. I said drop the yellows. I said drop it! And then once I get a yellow down there, which is so annoying. They're not giving me any doubles. I'm trying to think ahead. They're giving me too many of these trash pieces I don't want. And finally. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Darn it. Darn it. Darnetly. Bomb time. So close. What is that? What is that last piece of trash in my way? That pit needs to get out of my way. Now we get the double red. No! Why did he just take control away? I hate this game. Might as well. Drop it. Drop that chain. Drop that chain. Drop it. Oh, I needed more chain reactions, please. I'm just in a bad way for all these things. Ugh. I don't know how long you actually want people to be like staring at their mistakes and like not being able to get out of it. Kind of like like if you knew this was a checkmate against me, you're like, just let him play. You're like, oh, I hate you. That's what I want to say right now.
Your super lets you destroy those apricots, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they.
I did it. Thanks for the reminder, Adrian. But check out this chain reaction. Put that in your... No, what the heck? That was not it. Why did it... I'm dead. I'm not coming back from this one. That was it. That was supposed to be like the cool fold your arms and go to bed kind of thing. And it wasn't.
Well, at least you can,
Don't you dare.
It's gonna take a while, though.
Why do they keep giving me these formations? I don't get it. Stop. And then they're gonna put it right in the way. Thanks. I opened it up just to get it sealed up like a freaking something clever. Psh, I don't care. And now all my like chunks are bunk. And the only red I'm gonna get is that one. Are you kidding me? Ugh. I need a red down that hole. You know I do. I'm almost... Okay, there, finally. So you can just kind of play the game and freaking get your special and just kind of zap the bottom like I did. That was the highest difficulty level they had in the game. I fumbled my way through it, but that's alright. Thinking of different things that I could have done. Just being familiar enough with the game to be able to look at the look ahead and then have a plan in mind instead of trying to think on every piece. I was able to do a lot of common structures that would give me chains in other games, Puyo Pop and Tetris Attack included. They just don't. There's just not a lot of movement in this game whatsoever. You can't, like in Tetris Attack, you can make a chain in anywhere in your stack. In Puyo, you can start your chains from the top. This one, it's a little funky. Things don't cascade as much as you might think, and a lot of the activity is very localized. I think the most dynamic thing you can do is using your superpower or using the push up from the bottom to push up the bottom of the field asymmetrically to create more and more matches. Like, you could probably just play to the bottom of the board, just set up a whole bunch of things, and then play to the top of the board and then have it cascade and just hope for a lot of matches to happen. There's no way to like get rid of a piece. There's no way to store it. Usually those are the kind of comfort things for games when they have a little too much randomness. You're like, well, at least this time I'll keep it in my pocket. They don't have that. I don't know. It seems like, so like a lot of people sometimes when they make a game, they bury the most fun part and they claim like, oh, you don't want to make it too easy. You're like, yes, you do. That's the fun part. You can make the hard parts or the less fun parts hard. But making matches shouldn't be this huge labor, right? And matching a fruit shouldn't come with this sting of, you matched it, but you got a pit now. You matched it, but I changed up the order of your incoming colors. Now you can't even strategize around that. You matched it, but your strawberries or blueberries are pretty harmless, but the peaches and the strawberries kind of do stuff. So like I think it's important to refrain from just like having every action in your game have these splintering effects, right? Some people think that interplay and having these deep systems, like, but this does that and this affects this and this affects that. You're like, no. Like, what's deep is you have a very simple thing you're trying to do, and all the methods that you try to get to that, and all the methods that you can get in and out of trouble, and even style on it and showcase these different things. That's what you want. You don't want just managing these unrelated, tied-in, splintering systems. It's kind of why I didn't like, for what it's worth, a lot of what Guilty Gear and some of those games were doing. Like, they have 3 meters, and like one's a this meter, one's a rage, one's a guard, one's a whatever. That's a lot of meters. Like, and then kind of how the moves tie into that, how the situations tie into that, where you can spin it and where you can't. It gets kind of tangled up really quickly. You kind of want the player to only focus on and making it sort of the base level strategy very sort of like apparent and on the screen, right? No one has trouble putting pieces down in Tetris after a few seconds or minutes or whatever. It's where you put the pieces that's the true interesting part. But you can make flat Tetris lines in just a couple of moves, right? And you do that over and over. In this game, there were so many points where I'm like, I have no good move, no good move, no good move, no good move. And then that's why I kind of brought up that, like, am I in checkmate? Is it impossible to get out of this? And the game just doesn't, I just don't know it yet. So it's strange. Sometimes I feel like when people just put a lot of systems in their game, they play the game like, this is it. The systems are talking to each other. It's working. I'm like, is this the conclusion you really want to sculpt out of your emergent systems? This experience I just had where I'm just like, is that really it? Sometimes when games stick to their simple core, they communicate that and the player grasps it, they can use it really quickly, and they can see how far they can take it, right? It doesn't take a genius to play bocce ball or whatever. And you're like, oh, the whole skill of this game is reading the backyard landscape, mastering this underhanded toss, and trying to get this as close as possible to that. Like, you automatically see, or very quickly see where your skill range is and how you might step into it. And I feel like for a lot of other games, it's just like, you can't even tell how you're supposed to be good. Should I have been focusing on special? Should I have been focusing on these weird alternate fruit effects? Or should I have been doing something else? besides just trying to not bury myself in my own missiles. Hard to say. And like I was saying before in the description when I was describing this game, the more you add these systems to try to fix Dr. Mario to make it like good and fun according to whatever your tastes are, the more these systems are going to become the stress point of the strategy. So you could say like, yeah, there's a puzzle game here, but what you really need to focus on is this meter that they added, because obviously the less you like the thing you're trying to fix and the more you harder you try to fix it, while still retaining sort of the core problems. Like building on top of it is what I'm trying to say. When you build on top of it with these systems, you're going to get this very like compartmentalized, or I mean there's like all kinds of problems that can happen from it, and maybe that's not a direct result of trying to build on top of somebody else's systems or pre-existing systems, but it seems like it happens so easily. I mean, because you can recognize it, like, oh, this is a Dr. Mario part, and they're like, oh, this is the part you added, and then they feel very separate, and the rules and how they intersect is kind of odd, and I don't know if I actually understand this, and I don't know if this fixes my Dr. Mario problem. So now I just have two problems: understanding these extra things on top and dealing with Dr. Mario gameplay that's not so hot. Yeah, somebody in the Discord said, like, you know, still the harder difficulty level stress some of the new rules and systems that they had more. I'm like, well, hopefully, right? That's what makes it hard. But in general, I just kind of want to see what this game played like on the hardest level. And I just cranked it up to 29 and fumbled my way through it. So hopefully this feedback is useful for them. Hopefully, you know, they see that I'm not just giving it a 5-minute effort. I played this game now for 2.5, 3 hours. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's more than a lot of people played Enlightened. But until next time, guys. Peace.